Right, so yeah, y'all. You know, we back. You know what I mean? Yesterday, I had to go check the brothers Supreme Mathematics, Born Everlasting, Infinite. That was important that I be there with my brothers. But we back here today. Of course, you know how I do. I've made some observations. All right, magnetic. What's the deal? What's going on out there? What's going on out there from your angle? Felix Almanzar. We getting on a little bit later than usual. We're gonna do our the West Coast editions. Trying to get this. Why is my screen not responding here? Next year you'll be licensed. That's the move. You've been uh you've been going to Rogers classes. Rogers still for those that don't know, the guy has the plumbing, HVAC, and electrician classes at a large school. But he does it online now too. So uh, anybody can come in tune with that. Still trying to figure out what's going on. All right, Don Bishop, what's the deal? Yeah, I saw that Ma'am Donnie won. You know what I mean? I guess that's good for him. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. You know, I don't want to scare you, but your property taxes might be going up. What's going on? Don Bishop, I just seen a story. A news story just came on my alerts that said there's a scare, like I don't know if you what you allowed to say on here, but there's some kind of scare at the airport in LaGuardia. Let me see. I can't see my screen. I'm trying to get back to my screen. Divine understanding. Yeah, I'm trying to get. No, I can't. I can't even see that over there no more. Trying to get into where I can see the comments there. What is this? They've changed. All right, here we go. Now we back in effect. I can see here. But you at JFK. Yeah, I know you at JFK, but still. Said it's been 5 weeks. Oh yeah, that's the the shutdown, the government shutdown. Divine God, King Divine Master Allah. Peace. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, that's a lot of science right there, man. The various things that's going on. You know, uh, things is becoming real. I mean, well, let's not say they becoming real because everything is already real. You ain't got to make it real. You ain't got to keep it real. It's already real. But just in terms of, when you're talking about, hard times, hunger, nakedness out of doors, people being illiterate and all of that, uh, it's more crystal clear what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's coming to the point where you can see, you becoming more aware, right, of the fact that you being given nothing. Jiggy 1017. Yeah, it's a lot of it's a let's see what happens. But it's one of those things where uh, you know, I'm not suggesting that, but yeah, it's one of those times where it's like, we could end up with a replay of 2020. Yeah, it's gonna be, but you know what it is though. What I'm saying though is, New York politics is so entrenched, right? It's already so much money that's been paid to so many people that I mean, how much is he gonna be allowed? How much of his agenda is he gonna be allowed to execute? Yesterday, oh yeah, yesterday, the guy, the guy's old Earth returned to the essence. So I went out there to that service. So I ended up not going. I ended up not going on there. But I mean, at the end of the day, uh, it's not like I'm under the impression that Cuomo would do any better. Like as far as I'm concerned, from right now, we can speculate on how bad Mondami is going to do, right? But we already know for 100%, right, actual fact that Cuomo is going to mess up. Y'all already see, who, my endorsement. See, I just, for I just want the mayor to know what technology is, to let people know that New York City is a no glaze zone. No, no, no glaze. Saying that you think this one might be worse than 2020. I mean, you're right. I give you that because look, you got to think. You're right about that. That in 2020, right, people was getting checks. Like people was getting the stimulus checks, and it still got a little bit crazy. But it's like, yeah, this is. But I haven't really been too deep into the issues of that. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, I've heard, in terms of what's the issues, what do they need to kind of resolve, I guess, so that what they need to resolve so that this could be over. He said, keep some chickpeas and lentils in the cabinet. You'll never go hungry. Yeah, we talk about it a lot, but yeah, that's really being able to survive, knowing how to do that. But anyway, though, we get down to business with this topic right here, right? Supreme mathematics in action, real life applications. You know, but this one is from a little bit different angle, right? Where, uh, you know, how do you see supreme mathematics in action? When it says the real life applications, like how do you observe it? Not how you understand it. How do you observe that? Quasheen says, seems like for me it's time to let go of the meat. Hey, look, this is, you all of these is, absolutely things that you got to take into consideration. You said, you said, uh, supreme mathematics in action by the way I make it walk and talk. All right, that's peace. Uh, but that's you made that personal, right? The answer to my question is in there, right? But like I said, I'm not just talking about you. I'm saying how does one observe mathematics in action? You say cause and effect is one way, natural dependent origination, etc. You said natural dependent origination. I'm not sure what that is. Quashib is Quashib is in rare form today. See the way you observe supreme mathematics in action is you gotta watch people. True divine, Mr. Science. So you got to watch people. See, not just because, see, just like a person could tell you what they want you to hear, a person can show you what they want you to see. But at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You watching people, right, to see and see, because what I've seen is that what caused this to come, right, is that it's a lot of times, you know, I'm speaking to somebody, right, and they're telling me who they are, right, but you know, I'm also observing. You know, I'm observing with more than one sense. Like, yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm also watching what you're doing, right? And then I'm seeing what is the fruit. What is the fruits of your labors. He said just basic observing nature, natural dependent origination, meaning one thing is needed for another to happen. Like bees equal pollination equal breathable air, or seed and soil equals plant and fruit. Now, yeah, all of that is that's peace, right? But see, that stuff is, you know, uh, it's not too many variables. Like you talking about bees and pollination. See, once we get up to this level of intelligence, right? When you're talking about man, then things get, more complex, right? Because everybody got their own free will to be doing, whatever it is that they think is right, right? But it's like I, it gets a little bit into the, where man, it's how do I put this in a simple term to understand, right? Some people don't realize that they're hypocrites. I guess I was trying to soften it up, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. Some people don't realize that they're hypocrites. And see, some people, right? See, in is rules and everything, right? It's laws and everything. Supreme mathematics is laws, right? And so I'm seeing that there's some people that don't stand on no square, because then those laws don't have to apply to you. Like if I'm walking past the elementary school and the bell rings, I don't have to go to class because I'm not a student there. So see, when we deal with the signs of the 5%, right? This is one of the things where see people want to deal with the knowledge, but they don't want to deal with the culture. They don't want to deal with the fact that look, that's a particular culture right there, right? And they got, particular protocols about the way that they do things. So see, one thing, that I've seen is the accountability, right? Of just look, what are you talking about? What are you doing? That's not to say that you automatically right or wrong. See, there's at the end of the day, right? Uh, look, you know, you people gotta make a decision. See, because what ends up happening, right, is now it's like, see, you know, see, when a person don't accept, right, who they are, then you make it be friction. You make it be friction in how I relate to you. With any given thing, you know what I'm saying? If if I'm dealing with you, right, in whatever capacity, we could just be passing each other on the street. Now, for me, right, for me, right, am I supposed to treat you how you talk, or am I supposed to look on every plane of existence? And we say, the black man's God in all worlds from highest to lowest. But that's what I mean. I guess it's one of those things that I'm maybe I'm just speaking, maybe I'm just venting from that level where I'm trying to tell people that look, I'm observing, I'm observing what you're doing. And see, we don't have to be phony, right? You don't have to be a 5%, right? You could be my brother in something else. Right? We can still, have a bond, but it's not gonna work if either one of us is a hypocrite. See, because now we get a little too, this becomes more like friendship. So every moment is mathematical, people, places, and things. If you pay attention to cause and effect, you'll witness it in real time. It's all about who and what we observe, and when we act accordingly, that's the doing the knowledge. Yeah, you see, that's something that, look, I mean, yeah, we older now, right? So I can understand that, everybody, we don't have time to just sit around quoting lessons, right? And pouring over, you know, various topics. But at the same time, it's like, all right, this is, the beginning. This is, we starting, we getting the ball rolling to knowing who each other is. But see, once upon a time, That's what we should say that, first we had to meet in the mind, and then we walk miles on the planet together. Now look, even if we didn't walk our miles on the planet together, right? I can still observe your journey. See, when you manifest, right, the various experiences that you had along that journey, right, is going to have an impact on what you manifest. But these are the people. Like, see, look, even when you observing these various peoples, right? You know, whether they on the internet, whether you talking about the random Jewish channel, whether you talking about, anybody that you come in tune with, you know, don't forget our principle of word is life. Don't forget our principle of word is life. See, like, certain times, various times, whatever it is. Like me, see, I've been doing this so long that it's nothing, like I recall, uh, like when you first get the knowledge, and it might be like, certain cakes or certain candies that you used to eat before you had dietary law, right? But at this point, I don't even remember what none of that stuff was. Like I don't even recall, uh, like what I used to, some stuff I could, but just in generally speaking, when I walk in the store, I don't even see that stuff no more. Like my eyes don't, like I've already, grown accustomed to knowing where the stuff that I'm looking for is at, and I don't even look over it. So do you have any religious friends that you spend time with? If so, how do you interact with them when theological topics come up? Um, yeah, I interact with religious people. You know, uh, for the most part, I don't tell them nothing. Like, just generally speaking, right? I'm not, is I'm not secretive about being God, right? So, people know that, I'm 5%. When they start talking their religious stuff, I mean, generally, I don't respond unless they try to, impose some ideas on me. Like, if you start feeling like you need to proselytize and all of that. But, you know, in general, right? If I'm dealing with somebody, then it's whatever reason that I'm dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if if I go in the store and the cashier is religious, right? Then I just buy my stuff. Like I don't really I don't really I don't proselytize, and I'm not trying to convince them, I'm not trying to convince them uh, of how they should think, right? But here's where the title of today's live comes back in. See, when they see me, they're gonna see supreme mathematics in action, right? That's what they supposed to see, right? Let's say that they supposed to see supreme mathematics in action, right? They supposed to see the real life applications. And so, generally speaking, right? If once you moving on that level, you'll be respected. You know, and they might try you once or twice, but once you turn the fire up, they'll realize that's not a good idea. All right, Fred Kelly. I'm gonna give you one warning. What's his real name again? Omar Carter or something? So you haven't seen any equations. Yes, that's because you the problem. That's why you would never see it. You need to do self introspection. Shit, I used to eat Hillshire Farm turkey sausage until I found out the casing is swine based. I don't eat no glizzies of any kind now. The more you know, the more you grow. Yeah, I never was really all that hot dogs and sausage and all that. I never really was too big into that. Right? We're not gonna, because I get a little bit, I get a little bit nauseous when people start talking about too much pig. So let's we we've completed that part of the conversation. Like I was like, so you talk about pig feet and stuff, man. That's what it gets. I was like, wow, man. I just I just ate too, man. Like I don't want to be thinking about pig feet. I know I should be stronger, but I don't like it. Fred Kelly, why you over here talking? You said you don't proselytize. Well, then what's the point? You will never build a nation if you don't proselytize. I mean, well, I just told you what I do. See, I put the mathematics in motion, right? And then if I'm doing a good job of that, right? Then people is gonna, the people that's leaders themselves, right? They gonna observe that, right? And they gonna say, yo, how I get the how I move like that? How do I receive the fruits like how you received them? How do I avoid the beast like how you be avoiding? I need to activate that. See, those is the people that I deal with. I don't gonna win, convince nobody, or scare nobody or bully nobody into learning supreme mathematics. It don't work like that. This is for leaders. This is for people that they see the signs, right? And they know it's done. They know, yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? Oh, this is the knowledge right here that I need. You see, and then you see it in a person. They either remain a follower, right? And you see them around you 30, 40 years later, still asking questions, still talking about knowledge means to know the ledge, right? Or, the next time you see them, they build and they know brothers over there, like, oh, Sam, I didn't even know you know the Holy Ghost. Like, yeah, man, I've been building, you know what I'm saying? But see, you proselytizing, you just going to get followers like that. I don't preach, I teach. That's a big difference. He said, when we FOI go out to get our people, it's because they are misguided and messed up. We saving them like Master Fard Muhammad did for us. Yeah, well, what you doing here for, Fred Kelly? I got the knowledge. I'm not misguided. How you trying to teach me? Elijah ain't seen you on this post. He said, leaders have followers. How you gonna be a leader if you don't get followers? Yeah, that's the difference between me and you. Like, that's why you're FOI and I'm GOD. That's why we're not in the temple, right? Because we're the teachers of teachers here. See, we're leaders of leaders. See, all of that's different. See, this ain't no kindergarten class. These is grown people. What's their fullest potential? What is you talking about? You're not talking about building gods. You're not talking about born gods. Because these can't be the people that you talking about that you want to get as your followers. Can't be the people you talking about. Look, if anybody out there in the audience, right, is you 5%, type one in the box. Type one in the box, right? If that's what you in your New Year's resolution next year, you looking for a leader to follow. Let me know that. Let me all the 5% out there, right? Type one in the box. If in 2026, if you don't do nothing else, you're gonna get a leader to follow. He said, I accepted Master Fard Muhammad's teachings. I mean, well, look, I gotta, uh, I'm lax on that, right? I'm lax on that. What I would say, and it's fair for anybody to say that I'm playing semantics, right? But look, I would say that I've drawn Master Fard's teachings up. I've drawn them up, for myself. I haven't changed what he did is what he did, but see, for myself, I've renewed that history. See, that was his history. His history is he was supposed to come over here, right, and and manifest the knowledge, right? Okay, my history, right, is I'm supposed to take that knowledge and be God. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, Much love to the brother. You know, really Elijah's my guy. But, we love Fard too. But me, I draw those teachers up. He said the supreme wisdom that Allah was teaching against the rules was Master Fard Muhammad's teachings. Who else taught that? I mean, yeah, but I mean, once again, 120, we draw it up. You saying that I just accept it, now that's not what we do. That's not that's not what we do over here. See, we examine everything, right? What's the sign, Shalak? We examine everything and we draw it up. See, you know why we got to draw it up? Because my name is not W.F. Muhammad. See, that's the difference between what you just accepting all those answers. See, over here, right, we acknowledge those questions and answers, but see, we also answer all of that for ourselves. We're not, it's, I don't know how much experience you've had with us. I don't know if you've heard about our self-styled wisdom. but we just don't go around accepting stuff. He said, peace. Speaking of FOI, remember the convo a couple of lives ago when Freedom was arguing if Elijah ever said wisdom before knowledge. Did the NOI update that degree because my Muslim papers say knowledge wisdom? Which Muslim papers would those be? Because Elijah's teachings is wisdom knowledge. Like everywhere in the degrees where it says knowledge and wisdom, if you got our degrees, that's because Allah did that. See, that's why I see it'd be a lot of stuff like that you just come into the rallies, you're not really getting into conversations where you and whoever you building with is going deep in the sciences. You might not heard that. And then you got people that because they first got exposed to the knowledge on the internet, right? They had the wrong copy. So you got the copy with the sixth degree, the sixth degree in the supreme wisdom, right? Is why does the devil call our people Africans? But that's our seventh degree. You said, how do you mean you answer all of that yourself? I mean, those are questions. Those are questions. How did Elijah give those answers? He didn't just know them by osmosis. If he just knew them naturally, then would he need father teaching for? So the same way how he studied, right? The same way he did his calculations, his preparations, or whatever, right? And answered those questions very near correct. I can do that too. You can do it too. Supreme wisdom and NOI teachings are the same and never been changed. That's why I was asking where you got your books, because your teachings don't seem the same. Now see, don't discuss my Muslim papers until I put. You want me to pull my Muslim papers out? See, I see. Are we gonna have to start having a Muslim paper segment on here? I mean, look, what part do you not understand? How many more times I'm not NOI? See, and this is what I'm saying. That you trying to hold me to some rules, right, of something that I'm not a part of. And how you gonna punish me? By telling me I'm kicked out the mosque? What you gonna do? You gonna say, oh, you're not allowed to come to Juma or whatever? I don't go over there. Those is our brothers. We love them. Look, they love us. It's just be y'all clowns on here on the internet. See, look, I had this shirt on, right? And be walking up and down 7th Avenue, Lenox Avenue, wherever, you know what I'm saying? I see the NOI brothers. They got they bow ties on. Peace, God. Peace, God. That's how my everyday life is. See, like when a brother asked me, look, do you interact with all type of people? Yeah. You see, we have these unstable individuals, right, like this, that come on, and then it's like you, because you're saying, and then see, that's something that, just having a channel, I can't be getting caught up with you, right? See, where you come in and then you talking like you Muslim, and then I start responding to you as if you're Muslim. You see what I'm saying? And then now that might lead to a misunderstanding. When really it's just you, one lone individual non-Islamic clown, right? Running your mouth. What you said? I'm Abdullah Muhammad in Detroit, Mosque number one. Man, stop it. You ain't finna know Mosque number one. You said, don't you think it's counterproductive to learn Islam from those who are not organized or successful? I mean, yeah, that's why I'm not learning from you. I mean, was that not obvious? Is that not obvious? See, you know what it is? You got to stop watching movies or whatever. I don't know what you paying attention to. Or I don't know who's been perpetrating being 5% that you've been speaking to. But Fred Kelly, you're a funny guy. You know, And you know one thing about you, Fred? I mean, you like a co-host now. Because one thing about you, Fred, you always come in talking stupid, but you be the perfect example of the title of the live. It's like you illustrate. It's like I'm saying something, right, and I'm trying to explain it. And today, yeah, I was having a little bit, organizing the words to get my point across, and then you just come right here. You just come right here and help me to clarify, right, what I was saying about supreme mathematics in action, about the real life applications. Yeah, all this stuff right here, this is good. But remember, it's supposed to be wise words and wise ways and actions, right? How we know if they wise words, if they lead to the best part, which is understanding. How we know if they wise ways and actions, if they lead to the best part, right? Which is love, peace, and happiness. See, Fred, you lead to confusion. That's how I know who you are. You see that? I don't have to know where you're from. But I see the result of your presence. The result of your presence is confusion. Did you hear what this fool just said? After all this talking, what's the 17th degree in the 1 and 40? I like to see and read this. Where can I find it? Oh man. Did I wake up in a movie script or something? The only thing that makes me think that this is not a movie is you can't make this shit up. Nobody can make this shit up. Yeah, he's definitely a troll. He's definitely a troll. But see, here's the thing with trolls, right? See, you have some uh, deliberate trolls. You know how it's people that they funny, they funny without they not telling jokes. Right? You know, see, there's some people that's just jackasses. So yeah, they trolling, but as just a natural extension of how they are. That he don't have to think about this. Shaq and Lulu, you came in, you know, we dealing with what's your real name? I don't know, Omar Carter, whatever, whoever you are. Yeah, you're right. You know, you got people that's funny, and then you got people that's funny style. But you'll be all right, Fred Kelly. You know, but I do suggest, right, that you know, I don't know if you only go to the doctor. You know, if you only go to the hospital after episodes, or if you got regular appointments. But the next time you see the doctor, right, if it's going to be too long, go ahead, set up an appointment. And the next time you see the doctor, tell them they gotta adjust the dosages on your medication. I don't know if you need a higher dosage or a lower dosage. What it's doing, I don't know if you know. Because you got medicine make you fast, medicine make you slow. I don't know which way you need to go, but you know that's another thing. That's another thing. Listen, PSA, stop the show. I just want to add a little understanding in it, right? You know where it says, right, right, is to teach he who is savage, civilization, righteousness, the knowledge of self-shadow. It goes in that order. How we said, look, you gotta learn about civilization and righteousness, right? Knowledge of self, in order for the knowledge of self to do what it's supposed to do. See, before civilization, we have to put mental sanity. Like there's people that look, if they want this knowledge, y'all gotta tell them, look, you gotta go get your mental health straight. Like whatever it is, right? You know, and look, I understand. You know, a lot of people that you know they struggling with mental health, they be nice people. But at the same time, we gotta realize that we doing these people. Well, I'm not doing it because I don't. But y'all are doing these people a disservice, right? By you know, you putting this knowledge into a tornado. You know, no more giving people, right? That's you know unbalanced. Because look, right now, look, there's an individual threatening us. Because he's unbalanced. You said father is not an Arabic Muslim name. Okay. You know, see, this is what I'm saying. See how he talks, how he look. We do not have Muslim names, right? We do not have Arabic names. Minister Akbar's speeches. Which one is Minister Akbar? I may have heard it, but what is significant about Minister Akbar in this context? He says, so why am I studying the supreme wisdom? I'm not studying the supreme wisdom. You know, hey, listen, man. You you know, it's I keep thinking I'm having one conversation with you, but it's nothing. So why are you studying the supreme wisdom? That's the whole point of the supreme wisdom. The black man is a Muslim by nature. Yes, I mean, I guess being that I don't study the supreme wisdom, that's why I don't know anything about being a Muslim. Hey, Shaganulu, I'm trying to refrain. I'm trying to refrain. I'm trying to refrain. But you're right. I am under the impression now, right, that it took this person a little bit longer than average. It took them a little bit longer than your average kid to learn that 2 + 2 is 4. That's I'm trying. I don't want to. Can't talk about certain things on social media. But yeah, I think it took him a little bit longer than the average kid to learn that 2 + 2 is 4. Born to love science. Minister Akbar was the Muslim who tried to confront Allah at Mount Mara. All right, yeah. So I mean, well, now I haven't seen his speeches. You know what I'm saying? And uh, I've heard him say that he was in the temple at the same time as Allah. But when you say that, he knew Allah personally, that's not really what I heard him say. I mean, I hear you all the type of talk. I just don't know what at this point. You said the supreme wisdom is what Allah taught, right? The supreme wisdom is part of the Muslim teachings. That's Islam. You can't just take one part of the teachings. I mean, the whole thing was drawn up for us, right? By Allah, right? Who you just gracefully mentioned right there as our founder, right? And what was passed on was the best part, and we left the rest alone. I don't. You said if what you have isn't from the Nation of Islam, then it might be from the FBI. You really should check on that. I mean, you know, see, here's the thing, right? You got a lot of you people now, right? That's coming out of no place with these alternative histories. Like y'all coming out of totally left field, right? With uh, these various histories. And what I'm saying is that uh, in the 5%, we have a continuous line. Like these is not blurbs, that we observing on the internet. Did I see this person's speeches or that person's speeches? Right? Now we walk and talk daily, right, with people that walk and talk with him daily. See, we talk about history that's established everywhere from uh, the public schools of New York City, right? Look, uh, uh, to Barry Goddard's book. You got teachers that was at Harlem Prep. You got people that knew a lot before before any of that. You know, why are you acting as if this is something that everybody is just kind of free for all? It's just kind of a free for all where everybody's saying what they want to say, and so that there's even some possibility of you coming and correcting what's going on. That I just it's just something that I just want to tell y'all that what y'all attempting to do is not going to be possible in the very near future because of that. Because of the fact that too many people seen who was this. Too many people seen who was manifesting this. Too many people see who's manifesting it right now. So you could come in and try to perpetrate. You could come in and try to change the history, but see, like you a secret person. You a secret person, anonymous. When I kick you out of here on this name, you're gonna come back in with another name. You see, all this 5% stuff, it happens outside. It happens outside. Like, this is something new, this whole internet world and everything. You see what I'm saying? Where, you know, whatever the various things is, you know, people could work remotely and all of this stuff like that, right? You know, two people could be working on the same project remotely, don't know what each other look like. But in real life, all this 5% stuff, it happens outside. You know, did you see the short that I put up earlier with Curtis Leewood that's running for mayor, right? Told Andrew Cuomo that, yeah, see, that's that technology right there. Because look, this happens outside. People is outside being God. So, you know, these thousands of other alternative histories, you know, and you know, my opinion is y'all got a little ways, y'all got a little more time to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got a little more time to go before, you know, y'all can do the switcheroo with this various mythology. See, when you write your bullshit book, right, you supposed to wait. You gotta wait like 150 years or something. You can't be trying to do these alternative histories while there's still people that was present when it was going down. Now, men and dudes, don't tell Fred Kelly nothing. Don't tell him a goddamn thing. Don't cast jewels amongst the swine. See, let me tell you something. That's part of what the best part means. It means that it's preserved for those of us that's civilized and righteous, not for this type of clown like that. Let him keep acting. See, man, dudes, don't fall for his bullshit. He's never been in no mosque. He's never been in no temple. He's one of these various people that see y'all mistake what the knowledge is for. You see what I mean? And y'all give it to these people that be unstable, thinking that this knowledge is going to stabilize them, but it's not. Yeah, you know, mathematics has the power to transform people. But what I'm saying is that, you know, whoever a person is, right? You know, this knowledge is just going to multiply. It's just going to multiply, you know, who they already are. See, these is the people, right? How you gonna ever, right? How you gonna ever, accomplish anything? Like I'm saying, if we're gonna come together and make some decision on some advancement that we're gonna make as a nation, right? How's that gonna be possible with this guy around? Truck and true. It's quite a name. Yeah, money is another thing. Yeah, you know, now you got the power. Look, see, the money, and on the internet, right? You could be anything you want to be. So you got enough money, you keep goons around you and act like you hardcore. See what I'm saying? You trick on all these women and act like you a player. And see, with this knowledge, right? You can pretend like you righteous until we watch what you do. See, all of that's in there. We said, look, we don't talk about people, we talk about what they do. We're not here to really talk about, however you see the world or whatever, disagree with you. You don't bear with us or what we bear with us. But see, we observing what you're doing. And see, as we observing, we what? Pro righteousness and anti devilishment. But now here's the other part, right? Here's the here's the other part to this. You know, shout out to you, Fred Kelly, for helping me out with that first part of the live stream there, right? And coming on and illustrating supreme mathematics in action. But now here's the other thing, right? Do you know how to, I'm talking about each individual here, right? Do you know how to stand on your own square? See, by that, because what I mean by that, right, is that, uh, you can use the magnetic of the nation to do certain things. You know, not nothing against nobody, but just saying, look, if I name my channel, 5% this, 5% that, right, and I use the flag for my avatar and all of that. Now, before I even speak, right, before anybody even sees a video, there's some people, right, that's already they're gonna subscribe. But now here's the thing, right? Am I willing to accept the accountability for using that magnetic? Meaning, so now let's say if all of a sudden now I'm teaching flat Earth or some other thing, right? Now that's different from me doing that, right? As my channel, me standing on my square and saying that these are the things that I've drawn up. Or am I prepared for the accountability, right? When people call me, if they see me at the rally, whatever it may be, and they say, yo, God, why are you teaching that? Because see, like I said, right, a lot of people, they're hypocrites, and you don't want to stand on the square, right? Because then you don't got to be accountable. See, when we in a culture where that is a part of how we're held accountable for the things that we say and do. Now, maybe some people have a problem, right? Because maybe you still have the mystery God concept, right? And so you still, from that standpoint of only the mystery God can judge me. So if your brothers and sisters, right, hold you accountable, then you have a problem with that, right? See, what you need to understand is that you're a hypocrite. What you need to understand is that you don't stand on no square, right? So that you can never, how we gonna observe if you perpendicular or not when we don't know who you are. Like we know you as a person, we know your name, we know what car you drive. You see, depending on who somebody is, right? Depending on who somebody is, right? That's how you're gonna deal with the situation. Meaning, like, look, if somebody that is close to you, right? If they ask you, let me hold $20, you're gonna take that one kind of way. But if it's somebody that right, is they specialize, they rob people. That's what they do, right? When they ask you for $20, you're gonna handle that differently because you know who the person is. But to see if the person comes in camouflage, see, and maybe some people don't realize that. Maybe they doing it inadvertently, right? But you come in camouflage, and then whenever you address, everything is shifty. See, a lot of people don't look at it like, saying that you're a part of something, right, gives you a responsibility to that whole that you're a part of. Yeah. Wait, did you put it here that the Earth is 198,985,000 square miles? Poor fella. See, I mean, look, uh, unfortunately, see, people like Fred is he's a casualty, man. You said I don't know my actual facts. Okay, so tell me where in the supreme wisdom or the actual facts does it say that the earth is 198, what you got here? 198,985,000 square miles. Tell us, tell us where. Look, I got the Muslim papers right here. As soon as you tell me, right, I'll go into the Muslim papers. I'll go into the Muslim papers and check that out. Come on, Fred. What's taking so long? This is you better hurry up too, because these are your last minutes. I'm about to kick you out. We had this last little bit of dialogue, and then I'm gonna kick you out, and then open up the floor to questions. You said you don't have the actual book, FOI manual. This is why you don't have it. Nah, bro, I just ask you simply, where is it? Right? Where is it? The FOI manual. we did we tell you already about the Manuel Noriega? I mean, do you have, where is it in the FOI manual? Like what page, you know, what is it? Is it there? Is there is there where do I look in the manual? Where do I look in the manual for uh this 198,985,000 square miles? Page 12. And what does it say on page 12? So let me tell you the problem, Fred, is that you got the same, and that's how I know you're not. That's how I know you're not trolling intentionally, because you ain't coming up with nothing new in the actual facts. So you got actual facts. You got actual facts. So let me ask you a question. Do you have the student enrollment? It's just we just I know I'm asking a lot of questions here, but I just wanna I think we can I think we can cut this down a little bit. So do you have the student enrollment amongst your Muslim papers? Do you have the student enrollment amongst your Muslim papers? He said you got the King James version of 120. uh okay, so the student enrollment is on the next page, right? So when you look at your student enrollment, right, and you look at the fifth degree in your student enrollment. In the fifth degree in your student enrollment, how much does it say is the square miles of the planet Earth? There's no fifth degree. So the student enrollment, right? Are there any numbers involved with the student enrollment? I used to when I used to watch interview shows, right? Like on the news, I used to be, I used to get tight if the person didn't ask the next question. You know what I mean? But now I understand why the reporter when the reporter just asks a question, right? And let the person say something stupid and don't even follow up. Just go. Hey, look, you said what you said. You see, if I follow it up, right? Then see, he might try to, but see, now leave it, leave it just like that. Okay, so you said, hold up, Reality Brand say, what's the fifth question then? I mean, you asking me that, or you asking Fred Kelly? So Fred Kelly, right? What are the numbers that are affiliated with the student enrollment? Like as soon as you see it on the top, it says student enrollment, and it got some numbers right there next to it. Oh man, Fred, this is bad. You said the questions are numbered 1 to 13, to 1 to 10. I mean, the student enrollment, is numbered 1 to 13. But you just said that there's no fifth one. So if it goes from 1 to 13, right, how is there no fifth one? Oh, Reality Brand, you caught that. you, you, you caught that too, Reality Brand. You going from 1 to 13, and yet, there's no fifth one. I mean, he's trolling, but it's not intentional. So there's no fifth question. Is there a fifth question and answer in the student enrollment? Okay, so there's a fifth question, and what is that fifth question? nah, man. You understand? It's really crazy people in the world, Bilal. You said if I want to know the fifth question, I have to come to the NOI. All right, so we getting rid of you now, Fred Kelly. You got boring, like I said. You look next live stream, right? You know how black people. Well, I don't know if you're black, but see, black people, right? See, one of the reasons you see us doing those dances at the party is we practice at the house. Like we be at the house. By the time, like I see other people looking at black people like, yeah, how do you do that? Like, we already practiced that at the crib, right? So what I'm saying to you, right, is practice. right? I'm about to kick you off. Right? And then practice your trolling, man. Practice your trolling, man. You know, I don't know if you have children, but look, I know you gotta have parents. You know, take some pride, in your family name and troll correctly. Cause see, this is where subpar trolling will be exposed. So do what you gotta do. But next time, come correct. Yeah. I get you out of here. There you go. See you, that episode is over. He said he he's a multifaceted troll. I mean, possible. I don't know. These people are just silly to me. But you know, if he was really, you know, because see, like when I turn the screen vertical, right? Uh, you know, those be professional trolls. Those is trolls. Like those are people that came for the smoke. You know, this right here, I mean, it's not rising to the level. Like if he's trolling on purpose, he's a poor troll. But see, those is those people that look. I remember back in the days, right? Back in the days, it used to be a saying that a little bit of knowledge is dangerous. Is any, like, is any of the brothers? Oh yeah, I know Shalak came in a while ago. Remember that one, Shalak? A little bit of knowledge is dangerous. see, see, y'all be having these people with a little bit of knowledge. You know, on another note, man, you know, that's them continuing daily. Like to have all this uh, you know, various ideas out there all mixed up and conspiracy and all of this stuff. And to have people, right, that even have this knowledge, not know how to use it or put it into no, you know what I'm saying, for that to be what you're saying. The reality is, everybody talking about that, they on the last shit, God. Like I said, we gonna be God, right? And those that's interested, right, in internalizing this, then yeah, we're gonna help them. But you know, we having holy wars, religious wars. That's the old people stuff. See, we beyond that. We know what and how the devil is made. See, stop talking about all that religious stuff. All that you want to come and make me agree with you to be a Muslim, that ain't got shit to do with shit now. Right? It got to deal with the signs where, hey, look, let's say, let's say these colored people decide, well, look, all the shit that's cut off, this is the new nothing that we giving you. See, all that, the degrees, or the, you know, whatever you believe, it ain't gonna make no difference. What's gonna make the difference is if we could be God, right, and you know, do whatever our part is for our people to survive, right? Our people, whether that means ourselves, our family, our community, whatever it is. Like at this point, why are you going to argue me? I'm outside saving the world. You go save the world and stop trying to argue with me, right, about being a Muslim. Because I'm not going to be a Muslim. The people who is interested in that, they're going to come talk to you about it. The people who study the lessons, right? See, people who study the lessons, and I didn't realize this until I started hearing people like he was talking about the Minister Akbar and the various people. You know what I'm saying? There's another brother too that he talks about how he was how he first came in through the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he ended up coming up to the mosque and everything, uh, you know, and he was like, you know, from the first time that he saw the lessons, he wasn't really like the thing that stood out to him the most was, yeah, who's Master Fard, who's WF Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad. That's what he was the most curious about. When I read it, I was most curious about God in the universe. See, that's who I am, that's who I'm being, that's who I'm going to be. Right now, if those uh, you know, talents and skills, whatever you want to call them, is something that you have some complementary talents and skills, and we can come together and do some shit to save some shit. Now we talk, but you're not gonna convince me none of that. You can wait and see. You want me to go from what I'm doing, right? Where I'm my mindset to setting up home. That's what you want me to do. See, I don't have any spiritual questions, no religious questions. I don't none of that. Because that's why it's best to avoid them people. That's how we saying it's nothing to debate. What we's going to debate? Because I don't believe none of this foolish shit that I can't prove. That's the only thing for you to debate. You can't debate if 2 plus 2 is 4. You could debate if having 4 of this item is better than having 5 of them or better than having 3 of them. You could debate something like that, but you can't debate if 2 plus 2 is 4. So if I'm telling you that, yeah, some people is gonna come back, right? You know, you keep sending me money, right? And that's going to put you in good standing. Now, 1,000 years after I'm dead, you're gonna pull my soul. You're gonna pull my soul up out the ground and all that, right? If that's what you're saying, right, you can save it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially if you can't even agree that 2 plus 2 is 4 years. No, that's what I'm saying. No need for us to talk about that. See, like when somebody say, "Yo, do you ever be around religious people?" Yeah, and that's the thing. See, I can determine if this person is religious, right? If that person is religious, then yeah, we don't have to deal with that. We can say, all right, we civilized, we righteous. You know, I know what I'm supposed to do. You know what you're supposed to do. Okay, now we can manifest the signs of everything in life. But see, once you start telling me what I'm supposed to do, yeah, now it's all just fucked up. Ain't no unity. So I let him talk. But at any rate, yeah, I got which I made my food already, and I had a little snack. That's actually why I was a little bit late. Had a little snack there, a little snacky food. But I got some pasta and string beans and chicken in it. But yeah, let's wind this down, right? Whatever questions we have, which I tell you, I already know what happens. Is that see, I have questions, and then as soon as you come on a live stream, you forget them. That's got to be what it is. Let me tell you something. Some of y'all is new. So when it comes to the older people, that's one thing. You see, if you just studying and you ain't got no questions, you ain't studying. You see, there's things in there that once you start drawing it up, you're like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. See, if you really drawing it up, right, people want to tell because you want to notice that 9,080 years if you study. You're going to notice that 15,019 years ago and that 15,020 years ago. So listen, that is also an example of supreme mathematics in action. I mostly go live on Mondays and Tuesdays, even though right now I just had a little slight schedule change. So we might pick up the pace, for the next couple of weeks until things things work out over there. But Yeah. In the meantime, we generally on in the evenings, but sometimes I do I do some shot ones. But pretty much though, uh, the show is kind of not on the clock. I guess you could just say that. But definitely just once you join the channel and hit the subscribe button, then you should get an alert whenever I go live. You know what I mean? And then what happens is, even if you miss the live, you can still catch the replay. Which I don't know. I might start doing that. I might start taking the whole live down and doing the excerpts. You know, especially the ones that's not Mondays and Tuesdays. I have some members only episodes. Yeah, I don't know, Almighty True Divine, but it does seem like you gotta, you starting to have people out there that feel like, uh, that feel like, uh, we need to accept religion. Fundamentally, they have a, you know, I differ with them, right? In that it's like, you know, we don't need to change our teachings, right? There's people that need to put out the supreme mathematics in action. But it's like if you see somebody who's a 5%, right? And you know, they dealing with death, hell, and destruction, right? If you're being, if you're keeping it 100, you're gonna be able to point directly at the things that they doing that goes against this teaching, that goes against what the Lord taught. Just got an alert over there from somebody that, once again, I want everybody to just remember that, keep that in mind. That sometimes you gotta send people to get various help. See, because there's some things that if that's your condition, you can't be God. See, if you're mentally unbalanced, that's knowledge. See, when you get caught up in these situations where you lose your supreme mathematics, you get in a situation where you ain't got no power in that situation. You ain't got no power over there. You ain't got no power to change a motherfucking thing over there. Right? You get in a situation where you don't have your freedom, You get in a situation where you can't be around no women. You get in a situation where you can't open your mouth and say nothing for whatever reason. See, you can't really be God like that. I mean, yeah, you're gonna do everything to the fullest of your potential, right? But if you don't got those elements of your mathematics, then how you God of the universe? You might be able to make whatever you can out of that situation right there, right? And you might get to come to a level of you in that situation, you doing what you're doing, but you're not God of the universe. All levels from highest to lowest, and you missing some of the levels. So yeah, it's various people, you know what I'm saying, that yeah, they put themselves in a situation where they can't apply all the mathematics to the fullness of potential, or they can't put the mathematics in the kinetic flow. Yeah, they got the potential, but they can't put it in the kinetic flow. You know what I'm saying? They're doing something that's stopping the flow. You see, what happens is the leap is made to, oh, they have to change what they teach. And look at like you're saying right here, it's always something that's like, no, we're not accepting that at all. So is that it? If we don't have any other questions, uh, we go ahead and wind this one down. Great. We got. Oh man, it's kind of that got me up. But yeah, we don't have any other questions. We go ahead and wind this one down. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that made it this far in the live stream, do the each one teach one, hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe. In the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna sign out and say peace. We missed Monday, so we'll try to get in tomorrow. I'm gonna make some observations. We're gonna see how uh, the various people in New York is feeling about our new mayor. You know, I mean, me, I'm still, I'm 5%. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna do the same thing. And look, I've been through uh, uh, Koch, Dinkins, Giuliani, Bloomberg, De Blasio. Look, all with the knowledge. All the various. Listen, I seen Reagan, Bush, uh, Clinton, Bush again. Look, I seen uh, half original win the president. I see a jackass with the president. I see another jackass with the president. I see the jackass with the president again. Yeah. It's not even that I disagree with him, but he is a jackass. Just in general, above and beyond his policies. right? If you've been in New York long enough, you know Trump. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I didn't think Biden was too far off. You know what I'm saying? But just saying that all of that's happened and ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. I had the same knowledge. I was the same me. You understand what I'm saying? You know, those things is just saying like, okay, this is a this is the environment is adjusted. You see, the same sun is still drawing its water out the same 6 miles, and it's still got to distill back to the planet. So whatever they doing, still got to distill back to. So we'll see. But in the meantime, between time,